Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're gonna look at how you can complete the flight training IFR navigation ILS approach. Well, actually we're gonna look at how you cannot complete it because there currently is an issue with this landing or with this training, which always results in a watch out, even if you land very softly. The good news is that Asobo is already aware of it and they announced that it will be fixed in the next sim update. Next sim update will be released in February, if I'm correct, because I don't think it will be part of the world update which is announced earlier. So I will show you what happens, right? So let's wait for the instructor to finish the talk.
Uses two directional radio signals, one for lateral guidance called a localizer, and the other for vertical guidance called the glide slope. The localizer provides lateral guidance, which directs you onto the runway centerline. The glide slope provides the intended descent angle onto the runway. The localizer is displayed with the CDI, much like in the VOR lesson. Keep flying on a heading of 210 at 1,500 feet, and we'll watch for the localizer to come alive. The localizer is moving now. Make a gentle turn to the right, intercepting the localizer and keeping the CDI in the middle.
So she's finished talking while we see the CDI needle moving to the center. We align with the runway, or try to align with the runway, because in this case, if you tried the mission already, you know that the localizer is not completely centered with the runway, so it's a little bit out of sync. That's not bad.
The localizer bar centered and maintain 1,500 feet. The glide slope is displayed next to the altimeter on your PFD. If the green glide slope diamond is above center, you are below the glide path. We always start out below the glide slope, as we want to intercept the localizer first. We'll wait for the glide slope to start moving.
And the part she's now talking about is this part, right? So this is the glide scope. So we're now centered to the localizer because it has been set to lock 1, as you can see in this screen. Right, has been set to lock 1, so that's good. And now you can see that the glide scope comes down.
Here comes the glide slope. Maintain 1,500 feet
So
until
make sure
it
that we're
almost reaches the center.
aligned. It's always difficult at talking and doing two things together. In the meantime, you also need to keep an eye on the localizer, so that you're centered to the localizer, because else she will start to complain that you're not centered enough to the localizer. So you need to make corrections, and make those corrections really small, because if you're making corrections too big, you will all go over it, and then she will also not be happy.
Here it comes. Now reduce power a little and
So I'm
start to
going to
descend,
reduce power.
using the VSI to aim for 500 feet per minute.
I'm going to drop the nose. And it's critical to remain aligned both to the localizer and also try to keep the green artifact in the glide scope as much as possible in the center.
Localizer and glide slope indications centered all the way down to the ground. Reduce speed and set flaps as needed as you make your way down the ILS.
So I'm gonna drop flaps now with 1. You can see that we need to drop a little bit more because we're not in the center anymore. So then you need to decrease the descent rate. Sometimes you need to descend a little bit further, but always make small corrections. Don't overdo it, because that's will not help. So if you're in the center, then it should be fine normally, right? As we all know that in this, I would say, flight training, there is an issue where you simply can't finish it, even if you're performing a perfect landing. So you can see that in this case the VOR, or the localizer, is not in line with the runway because we're flying a little bit to the right of the runway. So You will need to switch in those scenarios to a manual or to visual approach to do that last piece. But that's also something the instructor will tell us in a few seconds. So again, you can't complete it, so be aware of that.
Meaning that the localizer and runway aren't lined up together exactly. Focus on following the ILS for now. We'll transition to a visual landing once we're closer to touchdown. Make only small corrections and remember that each will be more critical as we approach touchdown.
As you can see that we're dropping, we're still on the center right, both the glide scope and also for the localizer. We're reducing throttling a bit, not too much. Now we need to pull the nose up a bit, because you can see that the localizer went the wrong way, or sorry, the glide scope went the wrong way. And we don't want to land too early. I initially had that, and initially was thinking that was causing the issue.
From flying on instruments to using visual cues to complete the landing. Get us down onto the runway and then come to a smooth stop.
Reducing speed further, pulling the nose up a bit. And try to keep that green thing in the glide scope in the center. You can also use the poppy lights, right, which are on the left of the runway. They will also give you a good indication. And then we're there almost.
Watch out.
And here you go, right? So this is what happens each time if you try this mission. So I showed in this mission how you can take the approach. You will continue to fail it because there's a known issue with this flight training. One other tip I want to give you is that if you did install the G1000 NXI add-on, you need to remove it for this flight training because the G1000 NXI is not compatible yet with this flight training. Or you can also say it vice versa, the training is not compatible with the G1000 NXI. So be aware of that. If you install it, temporarily uninstall it so you can, I would say, perform the training and then uninstall it after you completed the training. So here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.